Hey, welcome to another episode of Black, Wealthy, and Wise. Today I'm going to be sharing with you seven money habits that'll keep you poor. So, hey, if you're already wealthy, you can skip this podcast. But if you're not and you want more out of life, you definitely want to stay tuned. Hey, this is Black, Wealthy, and Wise, the number one podcast for helping Black families escape financial slavery and create financial freedom so they can live their best life and leave a legacy for their family. I'm your host, Alex Jones, retired business owner, entrepreneur, and financial freedom coach. So, hey, guys, welcome to another episode of Black, Wealthy, and Wise. And today, I want to talk about money habits. Money habits, right? We all have them. And unfortunately, some of us, or many of us, most of the population, unfortunately, probably have money habits that we can improve on. So today I'm going to share with you seven money habits. If you want to build wealth, if you want to have financial freedom, these are 7 things that you might want to stop doing. Okay, so let's just get right into it. First of all, let's talk a bit about habits. What are habits? Habits are just actions, thoughts, behaviors, ways that we think, that we do it pretty much unconsciously. It's just something that we've gotten into a routine of doing. Now, the thing about habits is good habits, or habits in general, are there to really help us be more efficient, to be more effective. If there are things that we don't have to say, our brains only have so much capacity, okay? And like they always say, if you want to make really good decisions, you want to make them early in the day. The later in the day, the more your brain gets tired, your energy gets low, and so your brain isn't working optimally, okay? And so habits are those things that kind of allow us to operate on autopilot so we can hold our energy, have our brain power, right? Store those things for some of those really, really important and big decisions or things that have to be done. So habits have a place in our life. But unfortunately, many times when there's a vacuum, bad habits or bad things, chaos tends to creep in. And that's how bad habits happen. Because most of the time we didn't learn good money habits from our parents or from our friends or in the neighborhood that we grew up in. Because there was a vacuum, guess what? Poor money habits start to seep in. And as a result, those things become our programming. That's what we think and that's what we believe. And subsequently, our habits in life determine our lifestyle, and our lifestyle determines our life. So that's a little bit, excuse me, about habits and why they're so important. Now, not only is it important to know the right things to do, but it's also important to know the things not to do. So if we look at those people who have been able to amass a certain amount of financial freedom or a certain amount of wealth, you would probably agree that the way they think and the habits that they have are probably different from those people who have not built in financial freedom as of yet. So they probably know a thing or two about how do you actually go about building wealth. So let's take a look at some of the things that we probably should not be doing that keep us from building wealth and keeps us poor. So number one, and these are in no particular order, but number one, not believing you can be wealthy. As I said before, I just said that your habits determine your lifestyle and your lifestyle will determine your life. But what determines habits? your way of thinking, it all begins with your way of thinking. I just did a podcast, probably 2 podcasts ago, that where I talked a lot about how habits affect your life, and how, if you want to have change in your life, it begins with the way you think. So if you happen to believe that you're always, I come from the mud, I came from the bottom. If we have this struggle mentality, now what you're doing is you're romanticizing the struggle, right? And so that becomes your lifestyle. So in some ways, many of us have adapted the thinking that we actually cannot become wealthy, that we cannot become financially free. And if some people are very honest, they actually believe that there is something more pious, or there's something more special about struggling, right? So they bought into that lifestyle or that mentality. And of course, your behaviors, your actions, and your habits will come from that. So if you believe that you're always going to have bills, oh, I'm always owe somebody, man, you got to work, those are the thoughts that we believe that keep us from building wealth. Wealthy people who have financial freedom, think different. They think that they're able to have an abundance of wealth, an abundance of financial resources. They believe that if they do certain things, wealth will follow them, that prosperity is something that they are entitled to, that they deserve. So I want you to first change your thought process. If you look at people who are wealthy and you see that as a bad thing, if you say to yourself, money can't buy happiness, who doesn't want to be happy? So now what you're doing is you're speaking a lack of money, because you really do want to be happy. And if money can't buy happiness, then you don't want it. So we have to be very mindful about, first of all, how we think about money. Money is the root of all evil. Money is not the root of all evil. Money doesn't have good or evil attached to it. It only becomes good or evil in the hand of the person who is using it. So it's the love of money that becomes the root of all evil. So if you look at, hey, I'm going to get money no matter what I have to do, no matter who I hurt, no matter how many laws I have to break, now that becomes a problem. If that's your mentality, then yes, you have crossed over the line, and money is the root of evil for you. But I want you to start thinking in terms of that you actually deserve to be wealthy, just like anyone else. Just like anyone else, you deserve to have prosperity. You deserve to have time freedom. No, you don't have to always work for someone else. Yes, you can have financial resources and the time freedom to enjoy those things. So number one, stop believing that you are not entitled to wealth, because you definitely are, just as much as anyone else on this planet. Number two, people have made the habit of paying themselves last. You have to stop this habit of paying yourself last. How many times you've heard people say it's too much month at the end of the money, right? After they get their monthly check or their 2 checks for the month, then after those things are spent and they still have some month left, right? So too many times people are trying to save money from what's left over. Once they get their check, you drive, it gets deposited into your account. You get in your car, you got to buy gas, you got to pay light, gas and water, got to pay rent, you got all these things that you have to pay. And then we try to save from what's left. And then we wonder why 34% of Americans have nothing saved. Nothing saved. And there's a reason why, because we've made it a habit to try to pay ourselves from what's left over. And I want you to stop. I want you to reverse that. I want you to begin to pay yourself first. That is the habit that you want to have. Once you begin to pay yourself first, now you are beginning to reward yourself for the work that you've done. Now you are beginning to put yourself in a position where you can begin to build wealth. You have to have seeds. You have to have financial nuggets. You have to have something that can be put in, that can be invested so it can grow for your financial future. And if you pay everyone else, if you give all your money away, then guess what? You don't have any financial seeds from which your wealth can build and grow from. So number 2, stop paying yourself last. You want to pay yourself first. Number three, operating your life without a financial plan. Too many people go through life and never once do we sit down and figure out, hey, where are we going in life? Where do we want to be at the end of the year? In 3 years, in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Never once do we sit down and figure out what we want from life. We never take the time to figure out, where am I currently in my finances right now? So I can build a strategy, so I can build a plan for getting me from where I am now to where I want to be. If you've never taken the first step to figure out where you are right now, I actually have a financial assessment that you can take. It takes you probably 3 or 4 minutes. It'll give you some insight as to where you are in your finances right now. And it'll give you some insight as to, what areas you might need to build and what areas you might be doing very well in. If you go to alexbjones.com/fitness, there's a self-assessment that you can take. It probably takes 3 or 4 minutes tops. And in the privacy of your own home, you can see exactly where you are in your finances. So I encourage you to go and take a look at that. But you want to make sure that 2022 becomes the year that you, first of all, get a good handle, a good grip on where you are currently in your finances. And then I want you to dream a little bit. I want you to begin to realize and come to realization that you deserve to be prosperous. You deserve to be wealthy. You deserve to have your passions and your purpose fully fulfilled here on this earth. And in order to do that, you're going to need some resources to make that happen. And you deserve to have all of the resources you need to fulfill your purpose on this earth. And the only way that you're going to be able to do that is for you to be able to create a financial plan, a strategy, a blueprint that's going to help you along this financial journey to building wealth. So I want you to stop operating without a plan. Make 2022 the year that you actually begin to figure out, where am I now? Where do I want to be by the end of the year? Where do I want to be in the next 3 to 5 years? And hey, even further and even beyond that. And once you develop that plan, now you're in a position to start figuring out, what are the strategies? What are the different goals? What are the different milestones that you need to hit and achieve to make it happen? That's when you start succeeding and start having success in your financial life. All right. So that's number 3. Number 4. The fourth habit is not learning how money works. Not not understanding and not learning the rules of the game. Let me tell you something. When I was a little kid, when I was growing up, and you guys, I'm quite sure, have experienced this before. How many times have you started trying to play a game? This is your first time playing it, right? And you're trying to play the game, but you don't quite know the rules. You don't quite know how it works. You don't quite know where the penalties come in, where the fouls come in, right? You don't quite know how do you score points, right? You know, how do you put some points on the board? See, all of those things are a part of this thing called life. This thing called the money game. That's just like life, just like the game of life. Anybody played the game of life growing up? So let me tell you, if you didn't have parents who were wealthy, parents who taught you the money game, the wealth game, the rules of it, right? If you didn't have that, chances are you probably didn't grow it up. You didn't learn in the environment that you grew up in as well. Okay, because like attracts like. So most of the people, I grew up very blue collar neighborhood, and you know, my parents did okay. I didn't want for anything, but we were definitely not living high on the hog or living like some other people in the city, right? And um, it all came down to um, are you learning the rules? Are you learning what you need to know in order to score as many points as you possibly can in this game called life, this game called money, right? And what things what things keep you from being able to build wealth? And too many times, we oftentimes, because we want to feel prosperous, right? Then we will start to embark on activities and doing things that really don't lead us to building wealth. It just makes us look like we're wealthy. So I want you to not to stop thinking that you know it all. Stop thinking that you know it all, because let me tell you, there are a lot more things that you don't know than you do know, especially about this thing called money. It's a lifelong journey. It's a lifelong process, and it's something that that you are constantly going to be learning and being challenged by. For instance, the hottest thing now, people are always talking about cryptocurrency. You know, that was something that came about maybe in 2007, 2006 or so. And so that's the latest craze. So if you don't understand cryptocurrency, and I'm not suggesting that you need to learn it. I'm simply saying that money, just like everything else in life, is always evolving. It's ever changing. So it's always going to present something new and something different for you to learn. Never think that you know it all. Okay. NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Now that is the absolute latest thing that everyone is talking about. But again, it just shows the point that things are always evolving and constantly changing. And if you want to be able to build wealth, you want to make sure that you're learning these things so you can stay up and stay abreast on all the latest strategies and all the latest tools to help you build wealth. All right, let's see here. Number five. Here's where too many times we get in trouble because we're acting rich. We have a habit of acting rich. How many times do we spend our money on cars, on clothes, on going to the club, making it rain, having fun, right? buying all these trinkets and things that make us look like we're prosperous when we're actually not, when we're actually having to work every single day. I know you've heard it said, man, that Range Rover, that's a status symbol until you realize they're going in to work every day, struggling to pay their bills, struggling to make that payment, right? They pull up to you at the light and they sitting back, they leaning in it, they riding clean, riding smooth, but not everybody that's looking good is in a good financial position. And what I find a lot of times is that really means that those people don't have these trinkets. These trinkets have them, because now they're in a position where I have to keep working. I have to keep going into work, oftentimes going into a job that I don't like, having to deal with coworkers and a boss I can't stand, not being able to take off from work when I want to take off, not being able to enjoy my family, enjoy my friends, having to ask off for vacation or get my time approved for PTO. And they have to suck it up because I got to pay for these clothes, these cars, these trinkets, this watch, these other gadgets that I've bought. Too many times we look rich instead of actually trying to work towards being rich. So in order for you to do that, you have to start holding some back. You have to make sure that you start investing, that your money begins to grow, which is my next point is, we're spending all of our money and we're not investing in it, any of it. We're not making it grow. And let me tell you, there's a silent tax called inflation. And right now, many of you guys are experiencing it. You go to the gas pump, prices are up 20, 30, 40%. You start going to healthcare, pharmaceuticals, trying to get your medicines and your drugs. Housing prices have gone up, right? Everything, the used car prices are going up. Everything is going up and up and up, and it's eating away from the value of your dollars. So even if you had money, that's laying around, money that's sitting in the bank, money that's underneath your mattress, guess what? The value of your dollars is going down year after year because of a little thing called inflation. So if you're not investing your money, if you're not investing your dollars, if you're not putting your money in a place where it can grow faster than the rate of inflation, you're hustling backwards. We're hustling backwards. We have to get ahead of the game. So the thing that you want to do is you want to get in the habit of stop spending all of your money. Learn how to make your money grow. Learn which assets and where you need to place your money so you can get the biggest and the best return for your dollars with the least amount of risk. And that's what it's all about. And when you begin to learn more, understand how the game is played, when you understand, when you have a plan and you know what your goals are and what you need to accomplish and what you want to accomplish and by when you understand what your risk tolerance is, right? And because you're learning and growing and understanding now, what asset classes can I begin to put my money in? What type of return can I expect from these different types of assets? How might I get taxed on the return from these different types of assets? When you begin to learn that and understand that, now you are in a position to make your money grow. And if you do it wisely and you do it well, you get to a place where your money begins to work for you and you no longer have to work for your money. And that's where you want to be. And then finally, you want to make sure that you stop spending time with the wrong people. There are people in your life who are just, for some of us, There are some people in our lives who are they're nothing but takers. They always looking to borrow. They're never in a position where you're able to lean on them if you need to borrow something, right? These are people who, the more time you spend with them, the further and further away from your financial goals you move. See, there's a saying goes that a saying that goes, um, show me the five people that you spend the most time around, and I can guess just about what your net worth is, because it's going to be the average of those five people. Birds of a feather flock together. And if you're not putting yourself around uh, new people, different people who are thinking differently, who are learning new and interesting topics, right? Learning new and different wealth principles and habits that's going to take them to the next level. Guess what? You have just met your lid. You're not going to grow either. And so people always say, show me, you show me if five people who are rich, and if you hang around them and you number six, then you number six. You're going to be the next rich one, because it's all about people who are building wealth, who are growing, who are succeeding in life. Those are the things that they talk about. They're always talking about new principles, new ideas, new habits, right? New strategies, new opportunities, things that's going to get them to the next level. And that's where you want to be. And there are some people right now that you probably know of right now, that who are really no good for you in terms of you building wealth or becoming prosperous. They're okay where they are. And misery loves company. And they don't want to see you grow either. They don't want to grow, and they don't want to see you grow. You need to move away from some people. Get around new people. Get new habits, new ideas. Look for new opportunities. Everything that you want, all the learning that you want, guess what? It doesn't necessarily cost you something. That may be an opportunity when people are coming to town, when there might be events coming to town, when there are people who are wealthy, who are talking and sharing new and different ideas. Maybe you can be a volunteer for their event. Sometimes all you need to do is just get in the room. Sometimes that's all you need to do is just get in the room. In the room is where new information flows. In the room is where new ideas flow. In the room is where new opportunities flow. In the room are potentially people who can help you get to the next level. Spend time with the right people. So there you have it, guys. 7 habits that if you're doing any of these things right now, I would encourage you to stop doing them now if you want to go to the next level. So, hey, look in the show notes, alexbjones.com/fitness. There's a self-assessment there that'll give you a pretty good idea of where you are in your finances right now, so you can begin to understand where you are, and now you have a place where you can start to grow from. In 2022, we're gonna have a new program that I'm gonna be launching that is actually going to give all the information you need from start to finish that's going to help you create financial freedom for yourself and for your family. In this course, these classes and these memberships, you're going to have the opportunity to learn every single thing you need to go to the next level and to have financial freedom for yourself, for your family, and for generations to come. So if that interests you, I encourage you to go to Alex B. Jones, go to alex@alexbjones.com. You can email me there, or you can find me on some of my other social platforms, Facebook or Instagram. As always, please subscribe to the podcast. and subscribe to this channel. And please feel free to leave us a 5-star rating. That helps us with the algorithm and it helps us get out to more people. So until next time, God bless you. We'll see you in the next episode. Take care.